Hello, welcome. How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Sirdork Live. Hope you guys are having a great night so far tonight. I'm already seeing a bunch of you guys in the live chat. I see Linda and Fred, Lucan, and Fred. Fred is in there twice. Why am I reading you twice? Sorry, Fred. And also, I see Chicken Dude Creations. All right, awesome. Eddie Souls. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You are awesome. But before I start rambling off, like I usually do, I have a very special guest with me. And he is right here. Carlos, how you doing, sir?
How you guys doing?
Well, I'm doing great, thanks to you. But I want to know, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. I'm doing really good. I've been looking forward to this all day and all last week. So um, this is like I said, this is a new experience for me. So this is pretty cool.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad to hear it. This is your first time doing anything like live, right, on camera or something, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've never really done any lives or really anything. So.
Well, you will come to know that it's just like anything else. You're just talking, and it's just better because then you get to like talk to a bunch of awesome people all at the same time, and I get to talk to you, which is really awesome. Which is really really awesome. But yeah, give us a little bit about yourself. Tell us a little bit about Carlos, Mr. Toiistories himself.
So a little bit about me. Well, I was born and raised in Stockton, California, and lived here my whole life. And as far as like, you know, at work, I manage a care home for children with autism, and I also work with adults at another company with autism as well. So that's what I do. That's where I was born, here in Stockton. So it's a little
Awesome.
bit about what I do.
That's amazing work. I didn't know that. I feel like I should have known that. But that's really
Thank you.
awesome, and you're amazing for doing that. And I can only imagine how, um, you know, I can only imagine how rewarding, but also difficult, but also amazing, but just all at the same time. But you're amazing for doing that because the world needs
Thank
more
you. Thank you.
people like
No,
that.
it definitely has its ups and downs, and it is rewarding. It's days where it's really hard. It's days where it's pretty easy. So it's cool. I've learned a lot for sure these last few years. So, but
Awesome.
it's cool. I really enjoy it.
That's amazing, man. That's so cool. And so, I don't know, tell us a little bit about Toiistories. Tell us a little bit about you and toy photography, and just tell us about Toiistories.
So like it was like the start of the pandemic. I remember when everybody was quarantined and they were at home and nobody could go out anywhere. And one day I'm scrolling through my Instagram. This is on my personal page, so I hadn't been doing any toy photography of any kind. I didn't know about it, and you popped up on my Explorer page,
Oh,
and it
really?
was yeah, it was the photo of I think it was the Red Ranger kicking the Mountain Dew bottle.
Sweet.
And so I saw that and I clicked on your page and I'm like, what the heck is this? So I clicked on it and I was scrolling through your page and I see all these little action shots and all the water shots and the fireworks and all that. And I'm like, man, that's pretty cool. Like, I want to learn how to do that. And then I told my fiance, I'm like, I'm going to buy a camera. And so
Oh
I
my
go on
god.
eBay and I bought a camera like a month later. And then I took a shot. I took a photo, like a quick test photo to like use the camera, and I was like, wow, like this is gonna be a lot harder than I thought. So I never realized like the amount of work that goes into taking a shot, and because of you, like you inspired me to go out, buy a camera, try something, and it's helped me a lot, and it's helped me a lot with um, I get anxiety a lot of the time, so it's like taking pictures is like my one thing where I can like sit here for hours by myself and just like figure out posing, figure out, practice lighting, practice, settings on my camera, watching videos, tutorials with different people. And, I've learned a lot these last 2 years, and um, I feel like I've grown a lot, and,
You
I've
have.
enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it a lot, and it's something that I've stuck with. I think this is the first thing that because I've tried a lot of things, and I feel like this is one of the things that I've stuck with for the longest time that I've really enjoyed, and met a community of people that everyone's super supportive, and And so I've really enjoyed this journey, and I thank you for always answering all of our questions and always helping us out and always just being there to answer whatever questions we have.
Dude, that's so inspiring. Like, well, thanks. Well, first of all, thanks for when you found me, and just right from there. It's an honor that my picture got you to start doing it. That's so cool. But that's so inspiring because when I hear you say that, I'm like, same here. Like, holy crap. Like, it's so cool to hear. Like, yes, toy photography has given me this creative outlet I didn't even know I had, and it's just like, it's just so cool. And I just, as you were saying that, I was like, oh my gosh, same here, me too. And that's so inspiring to hear. And it's I don't know what the right word is, but it's so cool to hear, like, someone else having, like, literally the same the same kind of thing I have gone through, or I don't know what the right word is, but that's just so cool. That's so
It's
cool,
just
man.
it's one of those things that I have kind of like. I feel like for you being so like so easy, like down to earth, like easy to like communicate with and ask a question, and I feel like if you weren't so inviting to me asking questions, I probably wouldn't have stuck with it as long as I did. And I feel like whenever I get a message and someone messages me and say, "Hey man, I like really like your work," and I'm very hypercritical of everything that I do. So it's like I'm kind of like a perfectionist in a way. So
We all have a
I'm
little bit of
very
that.
critical. Yeah, very critical of my shots. So I take it as like someone giving me a compliment and asking me a question like, "Hey, how did you do this?" or "How did you manage to put this in this photo?" I'm never one to shy away from asking or helping as much as I can, because I remember at one point I had no idea what I was doing, and lending that helping hand to somebody else is going to get somebody else interested in the hobby and in the community, and it's only going to make it grow even bigger. Versus if I just ignore them, or I don't want to tell them what I know or share my information.
That's so cool, dude. That's so amazing, and yeah, I agree. And anytime anyone would ask me a question or does ask me a question, yeah, it is like it's a major compliment, because that person respects you enough to, like, want your advice and opinion, So, like, I agree. That's so cool, and like, all for the better of toy photography. It's all for the better.
Yeah, for sure, because it's grown even a lot more since when I first saw your pictures. I've seen it grow, so I can only imagine. I remember you saying you've been doing this for what, like 6 or 7 years now, and
Yeah, 8 years.
oh, see, eight,
That's
8 years.
crazy.
So it's like I'm sure when you started, the community was probably much smaller than it is now.
It really has grown so much, and I see it all the time, and it just makes me happy. It makes me want to think, like, wow, I wonder in 10 years, where do you think toy photography will be? Like, I
Yeah,
just hope it's something where it's something. I want it to be to the point where, people, like, let's say cosplay, for instance. Cosplay is a huge community kind of thing, and most people in most households, if you were to mention cosplay, you'll be able to say, yeah, I know what that is. Like, I feel like for the most part, and toy photography is not nearly there yet, but I would love to get to the point where, like, every household, if you mention toy photography, they'll be like, oh yeah, like, I know what that is. Like, my
yeah.
nephew does that. Like, I want, like, that's super. That's what I'm hoping for sure.
And I think that right now, like those of us that are in it, I feel like we're kind of like paving the way for like the younger kids to
Yeah.
get into it, and um, like the con that you just did, like that's a huge thing, because that's unheard of. No one's ever done a con where it's photography and toys, and it's a family thing. And like you said, if you mention to someone, oh, cosplay, they might not know the first thing about cosplaying or anything that goes into it, but they immediately think San Diego. And like that's what they know. Oh, that's where people go dressed up over here. They might use the wrong terms or whatever,
Right.
but they know what it is for the most part, that it's this giant convention that people go to every year. And I feel like with toy photography, you know, as long as it's just going to keep growing, and the more the community is even more positive about it, and everyone that's in it's generally like really good people, I
Yeah.
feel like it's not going to take long before it blows up completely to that scale,
Yeah.
for sure.
I couldn't agree more. That's awesome, man. And I do want to say, Lucan in the live chat says, "Toy Stories, dude, you have started the same time, around the same time as I did. Watching your work grow has been amazing." That's what Lucan said. So that's
Thank you. I
so.
might be looking to my side because my monitor is on the side, so I'm not looking away from you. I'm just looking at the monitor.
That's all right. Yeah, that's of course. And
But thank you, Luke, and I really appreciate that.
everyone who's watching, I'm sorry. I'm very choppy, and I don't know why this happens to me sometime. And I was trying to fix it, but at least my audio is probably coming through okay. So if I'm choppy, sorry about that. I'll just try to move very slow, so it doesn't. But awesome, Carlos, dude. You like when I said tell me about Toy Stories, you gave me like the best possible answer ever. And so the name Toy Stories is inspired from Toy Story at all, like the movie, or is this just like telling stories through toys?
A little bit of both. So when I started my account, I didn't know what name to put it. You know, like what to name it. So I was thinking for a little bit, and I'm like, okay, so Toy Story is one of my favorite Disney movies. You know, I have a few in there, but that's one of the ones that all of us as kids growing up in the '90s, that was like one of the biggest movies.
Oh
And
yeah.
and so I incorporated that with my idea. I had a vision that I wanted to kind of do with my toy photography, is tell certain stories. And I feel like lately I kind of veered away from telling a story because I do a lot of more portrait style type of photos. Um, but the challenge of telling a story with toys and then making it look as realistic as possible that's pretty hard. Um,
It is.
and I want to start venturing out and trying to do more scenes and stuff like that, because I do feel like I did have concentrated a little bit more um, on just still photos or like portrait style type photos.
You're branching out and you're venturing out and trying new things. That's exactly what that's always the first thing I always say if anyone says, "Do you have any tips?" I'm always like, just try lots of new stuff all the time, and you're venturing out, and you're finding whatever you're finding new stuff, and whether you want to do a portrait one day or do something more of a scene-looking thing, great, So I think that's amazing. I think that's amazing. So before I go any further with talking about anything, so here's Toy Stories right here. This is his Instagram. Make sure you are following him now. Go and follow Toy Stories right here. TOII Stories. And right now he's at 505. Let's get him to like 600. Let's do it.
Oh, that'd be great.
I'm gonna give it a refresh already to see where we can get. Let's see if we're at 507. Boom! We're already getting there. Awesome. Thank you, everybody.
Growing, little by little.
Yes.
Baby steps.
And if you haven't already, if you guys want to just leave a like on the video, that would be awesome. That'd be so awesome. All right, so let's start getting it. So this one right here, this one is super cool. This shot, I remember when he took this. I got a bunch of stuff to talk about with your shot. So, tell me a little bit about this one.
So this one was the 4th of July challenge, and I'm a very I don't really want like the algorithm to be all messed up for your videos, but especially with like the firearm topics, very sensitive. So, but I'm really into firearms, and I mix the two things that I'm really into, toys and firearms and photography. And what's more like patriotic in America than like firearms and
Absolutely.
explosions and 4th of July and
right.
all that. So
That was the whole point of the challenge.
I had to do it.
So the
And
sorry, keep going with your
okay.
with your
And
explanation.
so and then one of my favorite Marvel characters is Captain America, and he's obviously the most patriotic Marvel character there is. So um, it just was fitting that this photo came together super. I think this was one of the fastest photos and little scenes that I put together, and it just flowed so good. And like I wish every shot was that way, that you just I'm gonna grab this and I'm gonna grab that. I'm gonna put this guy here and that guy here, and
Sometimes
then the lighting. Yeah, and it just came perfectly together. I think I did this shot in like 30 minutes and edited it and put everything real.
that's awesome. That's
And
awesome.
it's always great when it works that way, but
Yeah, it doesn't always work that way, but still, that's so cool. If you can get to the point where you impress yourself, like with what you're doing, like that's so awesome. And what I really like about this is this figure is super shiny, and the like shininess of the figure matches like the bullets, like it's the same type of like I don't know what the
yeah,
word
like
is.
the glossiness of it, right?
Yeah, it's the same kind of like finish looking, and I don't know. I just think it all works really well together, and I like his pose, how he's sitting, like that with his arms on his thighs, like very naturally, and I like how he's looking down. I thought that was a nice creative choice to have him like looking down like that, and here he is. Awesome.
Yeah, for this shot, like I said, it worked out really good because that figure. So for those of for anybody that's interested in that figure or looking that figure up, he's the Sentinel Captain America. I think it's fighting armor, and he's really shiny and he's all die cast. So
Oh,
the
really?
light hitting him like helped a lot. Obviously, like a little editing, tweaking here and there, but for the most part, um, he really was shining like that, even like kind of in the raw picture form. So
That I had no idea he was completely like die cast metal like that. I know you have other shots of him. This one I like. This might be my favorite you have with this figure. I like this shot a lot. How did I not like this? Um,
so like this shot here, like living in California, and you can attest to that. You go down. I think you said you go down to the neighboring state to go get fireworks.
yes,
Um,
actually, I just did it the other day.
so I had been stacking some fireworks because here in California they just sell like it's the Phantom fireworks booth, and they only set up like I think like 2 to 3 days before 4th of July,
Wow, that's it.
and yeah, and all they have is sparklers, but they did have these little like I don't know if you've used them, but I know like Sergeant Bananas has used them. They're like these little tanks.
Yep, I know
And
exactly which
so
one.
I tried using those, but none of the shots came out how I wanted them because I don't really use fireworks like that. So they didn't come together how I wanted. So I decided to just go with the shot that was like he's just kind of in the background. I felt like this shot like needed a little bit more in the background, but it ended up coming out pretty cool.
I honestly, I think it's perfect the way it is because it's a highlight of the pose and the lighting, and the figure. Like that alone, right there, is so cool. Um, just as is, like you wouldn't need any of that. And that's funny too that you talked about the tanks because one time I bought the tanks because I was like, oh, Sergeant Bananas uses these. I want to try these.
Yeah.
And I totally just like botched it. I didn't know what I was doing, and then just like, oh well, I'm not trying. And I just went back to what the normal
Did
stuff I
you?
use.
I saw him use it on a YouTube video. I think it was Tested or something like
Yeah.
that, where they
Yep.
were showing the behind the scenes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got
Those are great.
inspired, and then I realized he's totally a professional. So
He is. He absolutely is. Yeah, he is. He was probably my biggest inspiration when I first started. Just the just awesome, epic war action Star Wars stuff that he did.
oh yeah,
Just so cool.
yeah, all his shots are amazing.
Yeah, so awesome. All right, so okay, I kind of scrolled way up here. So I actually okay. Before I get to this one, this is I use this one as the thumbnail because this is just
Yeah.
so cool. This is
So
this is just awesome.
Oh yeah, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, no, I want you to talk about it.
Um, so this one, I don't know. I was sitting down. I don't know if you've had these moments. I'm sure you have, where you're just sitting down, not really doing much, and then you get an idea in your head. And so I've kind of been using that Gomez character recently,
Yes.
and I just thought back to the hand challenge that we did. And I remember I always had this idea of like, because I saw Mitchell Wu use he used like a monster, and he put like some
Yep.
the LGMs, and then he put the hand in there like if it was the claw.
Yeah.
So I have this ring light, and so I'm just like, I'll put my hand through it and see how it looks. And I had got some lights, and it ended up working pretty good.
So
And
good.
I took your advice that you gave me last time, because I had asked you, I don't know if you remember, but I asked you, why don't my pictures fit into when I post them on Instagram? It just cuts everything off. And so like I moved the camera like pretty far back, and then I shot it like that, and then I just cropped it, and so
Yeah.
it ended up working pretty good.
It ended up working super good. So like I actually like the crop works really nicely. Like it almost creates like a perfect frame. Like I think it's just I don't know. It looks awesome, and the way so your hand coming through the ring light like that, like it creates like this really cool dynamic lighting on your hand. That's just like you instantly are going to stop scrolling when you see this. You're like, whoa, this is cool. Like it's just like
Yeah.
it's very eye catching. And so for the fog, did you add this fog in afterwards, or is that like practical?
So that fog, because even then the picture was still a tiny bit, like a tad bit too big. So the apps that I use, so if anybody out there, like, I know there's been a lot of questions, like even in like the Discord, of people that don't own cameras and kind of feel like left out because they see all these shots, and they might feel discouraged, like, oh, I can't do this, so because I don't have a camera. um, I use my phone a lot of the times. I work a lot, so I'm not always available to be using my camera. So I use my phone a lot. So I use PixArt, Prisma. Um, what else? Other ones I use? I think I use Ultralight. So I use all of those, and
Oh
on
wow,
there
tons
they
of
have.
apps.
Oh yeah, and then they have preset like backgrounds. So for the light, for the fog on the hand, I used. You can use brushes. So I just used a fog brush, and then I messed with the opacity, and then I just kind of stamped it over because I ran out of my
Wow.
Atmosphere Aerosol. So I've been using practical smoke to kind of, replace the Atmosphere Aerosol. So I need to order more of those, but
Wow.
it works out pretty good.
So this whole you painted in all the smoke, the fog.
Yeah, so I painted in the smoke.
That looks so. And so which app did you do that on for this?
I used PixArt
For
for that.
PixArt, and that's like
Yeah.
a phone app. I've never even heard of PixArt.
Yeah, that's on iPhone. I don't know if it's on Android for the Android users. I'm sure it should be on there. I'm sure there's a
PixArt.
version.
That looks really good. It looks really good, and I think probably some of the reason why it looks so good. So great job, PixArt, for making good stuff. But it really matches the lighting of the picture. So like, and I think you put it in really perfectly. So like, it's perfectly. It looks like there's probably smoke around the whole thing, but it's perfectly being illuminated over here, and then whatever
Yeah.
light source is lighting up. I almost called him Gizmo. Gomez. It looks like the smoke down there is also lighting. So that it's just like it's very well placed. So I don't
Yeah.
want to give all the credit to PixArt. I want to give it to you for using it really nicely.
No, and thank you, thank you. I really appreciate that. And um, I just I try to like for example, like the shadow on the back, how it splits the picture in two, like in half, like in the middle of the screen. So that's a white shadow, and you can go ahead and you can choose the different color shadows. And so I try to like incorporate the same kind of color schemes and theme, so the picture can pop a little bit more versus just having a plain picture cut in half with nothing in the back.
Awesome.
And I feel like it adds to the photo.
That's so awesome. Yeah, definitely. And so, what I'm really curious as to how did you light Gomez? Because the lighting on him is really nice too. Like that's also dynamic enough to like it catches your eye.
So I used my my Ulanzi lights. I think they're around here somewhere. They're the little I think it's Ulanzi or Ulanzi. I can't really pronounce the name, but they're kind of like Lume cubes, but a cheaper version, and they work really well. You know, eventually I'll get Lume cubes because they have a ton of little accessories, but for now I use those and they work really well. And I've even seen a few people in the Discord have them as well, and they work really well.
I think they work very well. I mean, you were able to get this shot with them, so I mean, I don't know what else you could need. The lighting is perfect in this photo.
And I try to practice lighting as well. Like even when I don't take shots, like I'll take a bunch of shots that I've never posted to just practice the lighting. Especially like how you say like rim lighting makes photos pop a lot. So I try to practice rim lighting as much as I can.
And there's a lot of that in this photo because a lot of it is like around the outside of him instead of like just sticking the light right in front of Gomez. It looks like you had it on like the sides. Like that's why like it's stronger over here. It just looks really good. And there's so many different things I could talk about here, to get this shot. And so this one was using your phone. You used your phone for this.
No. This one I use my camera.
Okay.
But there's a few that there's a bunch of photos that I've used with my phone.
You know what might be really helpful for if you're trying to shoot more like longer shots and you don't want to have to worry about cropping them for Instagram. In your camera settings, you can adjust what your aspect ratio is. And I find myself changing it all the time because YouTube thumbnails are this aspect ratio and this and this and this. So this looks like this looks like 16:9, which is like the wide screen. Like the YouTube video, I think is, I'm not really sure, but if you can adjust that to make it a little bit wider and less longer, and that really helps with Instagram. So then you're already.
And you said it's in the camera settings in the camera.
Yeah, for mine, if you just click on settings, and then like, you know how usually there'll be like camera stuff, and then there's like saving stuff. Like there's one that should just say aspect ratio, and fiddle with that, and you might get a wide one because Instagram the longest it'll post is 4:5, which is not as long as like your camera will typically take. So,
Yeah, no, and that's a constant struggle with me is fitting, because I feel like sometimes when I crop the picture and use that to fit into the screen, it takes away from the photo, because I've seen people post these photos with a ton of different figures in them, and it all fits, and I try to do it and I'm like, man, why is it not working? And all I have is one or two figures in there, or I have little props here and there. But now I know, so thank you for that. I'm gonna definitely mess with my camera.
Sure, and also to keep it like a lot of times people will use different lenses too that are wider or like more narrow. So like if someone might have a really wide lens, they can do it long, and all of this stuff out here will be in frame. Or so sometimes people just have really nice stuff, which is really great.
For sure. Super expensive lenses too.
I know. That's one thing I'm very, very new with learning about. But there's been a lot of really nice stuff in the live chat, and I want to make sure that I get some of that. So CJ Notorious is over here saying, Carlos, you do amazing work. So
thank you, CJ. Appreciate it. Thank you.
And Trippin' with Toys also uses Ulanzi lights.
Yeah, they're really good lights. I mean, if you're kind of on a budget, and because I know Lume cubes can be a little pricey. And you know, obviously the goal is to get the best things that you can, but to work with what you can, because that's what I've been doing for a long time. it's definitely possible. It's not impossible. It's just you might have to work a little bit harder, but they work just fine.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you gotta just use what you got. You gotta
Yeah,
use what you
definitely.
got, for sure. Um, so, recently you've been doing some, basically some advertising for, who was it? It's one of your family
Yeah,
members
for
who's.
for my cousin Jackie. So she started her own candy company, and she uses she makes chamoy, homemade chamoy. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's a Mexican type of candy, and it's I don't know if you like drinking like Trulies or White Claws or anything like that, but so you dip it on the rim, and then you put like some tahini in it, and uh, you know, she does that. She does a lot of that. It goes a lot with like alcohol.
Interesting.
But these candies here, she makes all these candies, and she makes the topping for the candies, and she's always been very supportive in my life for a lot of things. So I felt like using my little platform that I have to kind of extend a little bit of gratitude to her, and help her out and help her grow her business just as much as I'm trying to grow my page and get my exposure. I figured help her out, get a little bit more exposure for her, and she
Definitely.
ships all over the country. So if you guys want some candies,
Oh, she does.
get your candies.
That was gonna be my next question because I've seen you've done two shots with her stuff, right?
Yeah, so far I've done two shots. I was recently talking with her the other day, and we're gonna work on doing some more shots, and um, getting the word out about her business. I mean, she totally deserves it. She works really hard, and you know, she's just trying to get out there and expand and get bigger and get noticed.
I think it's so cool. I think it's awesome that she's got her own candy, and I mean, I'm just totally ignorant to anything about Mexican candy, and it looks like it looks really good, and I love the whoever did, or maybe it was her, whoever, just the design on the sticker is so cute, and it's just like I'm such a sucker for cute and
Yeah,
eye-catching like packaging for products. I'm such a sucker with that. So I'm totally
yeah.
gonna order some.
Oh, definitely. The link is. I think I tagged. I think
Yeah, you got
I
her tagged
added
right here.
her. Yeah, yeah. And then the link's in her bio, and um, and I believe in like we support all these big box stores all the time, and I feel like why not support smaller businesses, and get the name out there, and help the smaller people around our community for sure to get bigger.
I agree. I think that's so cool. And so, Poncho Studios says mouth-watering, and Rajin Bolden says so good. So, um, guys, you just get some. Go get some. I'm totally gonna get some. So right here, you can find it on this post of his, and this one too. So whether it be Gomez or Kotal Khan, right? That's his name, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. I think that's so cool, and you're always doing something to I don't know, you're always doing something to help others. I mean that you're literally your full time profession is, and I mean I know you said you were trying to raise money by getting prints to help some of your family members as well. You're just always doing something to help people. I think you're
Yeah.
just
I
like.
wanted to start trying to sell some prints. That's why I had messaged you about how do you get prints in bulk, and because I ordered two prints at Walmart, and just to kind of see how the quality is and how they come out, how my pictures would come out in prints, and I was very surprised at like the quality that it came out. But it was kind of pricey though.
Yeah.
It was like $20 for two prints. I asked them if they had any sort of like bulk discounts or anything, but I guess they stopped doing that. So that's why I had asked you about where could I go to do prints and stuff like that.
Yeah, totally. And so if you're getting prints from like Walmart or Walgreens and stuff, they're definitely selling at like a retail kind of price, basically. Like they're so like if basically like if you're ever trying to get prints to sell, something like Walmart or Walgreens, I mean they look great, and I do it myself sometimes, but Yeah, it's going to be really tough for you to be able to sell and then make money. But that one website I sent you, I use a Cena Light. They're really great. It's a wholesale website, and
Okay.
you have to sign up like as a business. You're like, you have to be a business, and I was like, well, I just Sirdork Photography is my business, and then they're like, okay, you're good,
Yeah.
and then you get them in bunches of 25 for probably less than a couple at Walmart. So it's not as hard as you think to do.
Yeah, definitely. And then I kind of had a question for you, like, so when you do the prints, how do you like start your little store? Do you make your own website?
So actually the print or the prints that I sell on my store are not ones that I have with me. Like I used to have a store on Etsy where I had my bulk prints at home. If somebody would buy a print, I would package it up, send it out through Etsy, and that would be it. But I recently changed it because I changed it to like a print on demand website. So I use Spring. So like all the stuff you see like underneath the video right now, that's through Spring, which used to be Teespring. But it's basically a site kind of like Redbubble, where you upload a photo and you can put it on mugs or T-shirts or any of that crap. And then they like if someone buys it, they will print it and send it out. Boom, just like that. Like you don't have to do any of it. But the thing is, you will get less of a profit on it because they still need to make money. But it's easier for you, so it's kind of like a trade-off. Like you're getting the ease and the convenience of this ship on demand site, but you're not getting quite as much money. So in the end, that ended up being more worth it for me. And plus,
For sure.
I could have as many design. I could put up all of my toy photos, as opposed to getting them in bulk. Like if I wanted all my toy photos, I'd have to buy them all upright or up front.
Yeah, and for sure, and it's I don't think it's that bad of a trade off to pay for the convenience of them do the shipping and they do all that versus having to go to, I don't know, post office or UPS or wherever you ship from. It's a little bit less of a hassle.
Definitely, it definitely is. But at the same time, it's still good to have the bulk ones too, because if there's any local Comic-Cons or local, even like flea markets or just local shows where you could kind of like buy a vendor, be like $50 to be a vendor at the show, then you could set up your own little toy photographer booth and sell your artwork, and that's like the coolest and funnest thing ever. And even
I never thought about that. I think I'm gonna look into that.
It's so cool. It's so fun. And even if like you go and you sell like one print, that one print just it's so cool that somebody was happy enough to thought your work was cool enough to buy it. And even if you don't sell any of them, you know, it's good to have like business cards, be like, hey, follow me on Instagram, and then you know you get connections with people, and you never know, you could meet someone who's like, you know, I am in need of a photographer for my candy or something. You know, you never know. It's just a blast. Yeah. And you'll get so many people that like aren't familiar with toy photography, and you'll be like, "Yep, these are all action figures." And like, what? That's crazy. And you just have conversation. It's like it's such a blast.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And anybody can do it. You know, anybody can do it. And Vanessa in the live chat is saying, is Vanessa is that your sister or?
Yeah, that's my sister.
Okay. Thanks for being here, Vanessa. She's so supportive. She's awesome.
Yeah, and Regine's my fiance, so she's in there.
Oh, Regine is here.
Talking in the live chat.
I was totally like, and Regine Bolden, whoever that is, says this, and I'm like, when little did I know. Well, both of you guys, thanks for being here. And so Vanessa was saying that the Gushers are really good.
Yes, the Gushers are delicious. I recommend Gushers.
I'm gonna get the Gushers. But Vanessa also says for smaller prints like 5x7 and 8x10, you can buy a photo printer and print them on your own. Just purchasing photo paper and ink, you could email. That's true. That's a really great point too.
Yeah,
you could absolutely
have like a little unit right here on the side somewhere.
Definitely, that's a great idea. And also, what's really
sorry about that. Sorry.
That's all right. Also, another really cool thing for prints, and we can move on for this soon. Sorry, I feel like I'm going on too long. But if you've ever used Shutterfly before, if you use their app the phone app that you download, you can literally have unlimited free 4x6 prints. You just have to pay for shipping. Like, you can do it as much as you want for free. You just pay shipping through.
And that's Shutterfly.
Through Shutterfly. It's just the little 4x6 prints. You know, they're nothing fancy, but it's really cool. I've done that and gotten a ton of them. And even if you don't want to sell them,
sure.
you just it's just cool to see your work on a paper. And you're just like, wow, look at this. This is mine. You know, it's cool.
And sometimes, you know, like sometimes some of the best things you can do is, it doesn't even involve money. Just giving out, you know, going through that phase of just getting yourself out there for that exposure.
Yep, definitely. You never know who you're gonna run into.
Oh, for sure.
You never know. So this is just a beautiful shot of Appa, and this is Appa, right?
Yeah, I don't know too much about Avatar, but my fiance loves Avatar, so I had to at least get those two names right, or she was gonna kill me. So, so I did that one for her, and I printed that for her, so we got to find a frame for it and everything. But
awesome.
I love the way the colors and everything, the way it came out.
Yeah, the blue and purple background is super complementary to the orange and yellowish of the figures. Like that was a nice choice in color for sure. Super complimentary.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful shot. There's so, like, look, I love how different you go from this shot to this shot, which literally looks like either a movie cover or a comic book cover, to this one, like super dramatic looking and like awesome lighting. And the little kitty.
Don't mess with this cat.
Yeah. Same. So no, I just there's so much range you've got going on. And let's see, here we go. Awesome with but this is
so that's not Eddie Munson.
Right, that's what's his name from Cyberpunk.
Yeah,
Johnny
Silverhand. So I was trying to find an Eddie Munson figure, but I could not find it. And then the one, I think I found one, and the quality was just not really good, and they wanted like $100 for him. And you know, like right now, Stranger Things is like super popular, so they're gonna bump up those prices. And you know, I'm like, well, I got this Johnny Silverhand. He's got a guitar. He's got long hair. Like,
yeah,
let's just pretend.
But still, like that's one of the things about toy photography that's so cool is that, like, if I looked at this as is, and I would have just thought that you intentionally were like, oh, this is cool. It's like kind of like a play and a crossover kind of thing between Cyberpunk and Stranger Things. That's super unique and creative. Awesome. You know, like that's part of the whole experience is being able to do stuff like that. But now that you're saying that, I just used what I had, and because I didn't have Eddie Munson. Yeah. I think that's awesome.
I think that's something with toy photography. Like, we're all just like giant kids grown up, and you know, just use your imagination. You know.
Yeah, that's literally what it is, and it's basically. This is really cool, by the way. It's basically we're able to do the things that we probably wanted to do in our minds as kids, but we're doing it now as adults. This is really cool. So what did you use for the lightning effect? Was that one of the apps that you had?
So that was PixArt as well. I use PixArt fairly regularly. So that was PixArt. I tried going for a comic book feel, like vibe, like I don't know if you've read much comics. I pretty much barely started getting into comics. I remember reading a little bit when I was younger, but not so much. And seeing like artists do different takes on, there can be one writer writing a comic book, and then his art style is completely different than the guy that did the run before him. So I kind of felt like I wanted to take a shot that was like representative of like what I would do as far as if I could draw and I could, you know, write my own Thor comic book. I kind of felt like maybe this is kind of a style that I would go with, like the way that the filter looks on them. It's kind of like sketchy in a way, like
definitely
art or something.
That's
Yeah,
so
so that's
cool.
kind of what I try to go for.
That's so cool. You're giving such great insight of like what you were thinking during these shots, and I'm really like I love that. Keep doing that. There's one shot that was this is probably the first shot of yours that I was just like, damn, this is awesome. Well, I mean, I see that on every single one of your shots, but this is a great one too. But is this one?
Oh yeah, yeah, I remember doing that
I
shot.
love this shot.
Thank you. I tried to definitely go for a like noir style like type of shot, and
Totally.
I love Rorschach on Watchmen, and that's my favorite character in that movie.
Yeah.
And he's just so like gritty and like he's like this hero, but I don't know if you would really call him an anti-hero, but he's just like this older dude. He's kind of like bitter, but then at the same time he means well. I don't know really how to describe.
Oh yeah,
him.
I mean I'm a huge Watchmen fan, and I love Rorschach. I have the same figure and everything. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. He's a great character, totally.
And I totally used my fiance's dollhouse for that. So
That's so cool.
Thank you to her for letting me use your dollhouse.
You should use it more. The fact that she has like you know how many times I've gone to Hobby Lobby and seen those giant dollhouses. I'm like, I'm not gonna buy a dollhouse. What am I doing? Even though deep down I'm like, it'd be cool to have one of those.
And it's pretty honestly like I really do recommend it. They're not all that expensive. The only thing with those doll houses is you have to build it yourself. She spent hours building that thing, so for her to let me use it, it was really nice of her because you know she's really particular with her things. So that was pretty cool of her.
That's so awesome. Has she ever? Does she ever like if you're shooting something, does she ever like help or participate or anything like that?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, she's helped with a lot of shots. Like honestly, like I wouldn't have gotten some of the shots without her help because I know that's why I say like use everything at your disposal, like because there's people that have these rigs that hold their lights for them and they do all this BTS of like what do you call that stuff for fishing, the fishing line, and they'll have like this jig set up. So mine was my fiance's hand holding a light hovering above the camera and I'm like trying to like maneuver and take a quick shot real quick, and you know it's
that's great. Yeah,
you know, so she's definitely helped a lot.
There's no better I don't know what I'm gonna say. There's literally no any kind of gear, there's no tool or anything that could be better than just having someone to help you out. There's nothing better than that. And so I think one of the reasons why there's a lot of reasons why this shot is so awesome, but the way the light is kind of coming behind Rorschach, but it's going like not I don't mean behind by his back, I mean like behind him closer to the house. So the house is so illuminated, and then you've got this perfectly clear profile of Rorschach, you know, the contrast between him being very dark but not too dark, at the perfect amount, and then with the contrasting into the lighthouse is so great, and it really is a perfect pop. Like the lighting is so good.
Oh yeah.
But
I used the Ulanzi light facing the house. So what I realized when I put the light down, so in the beginning I had pointed it facing directly on his back. But what I noticed was it was washing him out in the shot and it was making the house darker. So what I noticed was that when I pointed the light to the wall, it was bouncing off the wall and onto him. So then I remembered, you know, the concept of light bouncing, and so then I just pointed it to the wall, and it gave it a perfect look, like as if, you know how people have those little lights that illuminate their walls at home. Yeah. So that's what I kind of feel like it did for this shot.
It did. It definitely did. Yeah, it was very, very nicely done, and you know, like it kept the light back there, kept him dark, but at the same time, he's still not too dark. You can still tell it's Rorschach. You can see his face that he calls it. You know. And you can just, I can just hear him, Rorschach's journal. You know, whatever.
Yeah,
it's just
exactly. That's what I was thinking the whole time.
So yeah, this. I don't know if this is my favorite of yours, but this is definitely it's definitely one that I don't know. It's definitely one of my favorites. It's up there for sure. Oh, there's a little awesome. All right.
Oh yeah, the little music.
I love it. This is. I feel like this was this the only time I've ever seen you use like practical like fires. I know you talked about that one when you used the tank and stuff, but I think was this the
Yeah.
only...
So for this, interestingly enough, this was a few months back when we were living in an apartment, and so I was outside on the parking lot, and I had my cousin outside and one of our neighbors, and they're like, "What are you doing?" And then so I was like, "Oh, I'm taking pictures." So they were out there watching me, and I grabbed a lighter, and because initially it was just gonna be a shot of him standing by the motorcycle, but I couldn't get the perspective like correct. I was trying to practice like forced perspective, and I really couldn't. I wasn't getting it, so I'm like, I have this lighter and I have this can of Atmosphere Aerosol. So I just like pointed it and just started like going to town on it, and I kind of charred up his cape a little bit. But it ended up working really well because it came out pretty cool.
Awesome. Yeah, I love this shot so much, and I love the light that the fire is emitting on Batman and on the ground. I love that. And Josie in the live chat, Josie Sandoval says this is my favorite. So that's Josie's favorite, this shot.
So that's my cousin in there too. So I got a few family members.
Awesome.
In there.
You guys are awesome. Thank you guys for being here. And
Jackie's in there too.
Jackie's here. Regine's here. She was talking about how much she loves her dollhouse. We all do. And thank you for letting Carlos use it because he's making some good work with it. And Toy Immersion here in the live chat too says that fire is crazy good. It is. It is a very crispy fire.
Oh yeah, for sure. Someone ended up telling on me, and the apartment manager came out.
What?
she kind of told me like I couldn't do that, but by that time I already had the shot, so it was fine.
So that's what. So is that why you haven't done it since?
Well, now we moved into a house. We rented a house, so
oh,
now I don't have anybody to tell me, and I feel I have underutilized my backyard, but I'm definitely gonna start using it a little bit more.
Awesome. So you have that privacy of your own backyard.
Oh yeah, finally.
That's amazing because I know the feeling. We've lived in this house for a little over a year, but before then we lived in an apartment complex, very very busy one, for a while. So I had to shoot like in the parking lot with people walking by all the time, and it wasn't that bad, but I like the privacy of my yard much more.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, you've got ton, and like I was saying before, anybody who's not following Toiistories, go there now. So he was at 505 before. Let's see, did we get him at least to 510? I mean, we better have. 511. Heck yeah, that's what I want to see.
Nice. Thank you guys.
Awesome. Keep it coming, everybody. Thank you so much for everyone who's here watching. And if you're watching this later on, not live, thank you for watching. So I got some questions from. Well, actually, before I do bring in those questions, I want to know what you think of this because I've seen this figure popping up on my Instagram feed, and he's just so cool. So this right here, have you seen this guy before? This is on the 5K Toys Instagram. Look how cool this guy is.
I've never seen him, but that looks pretty cool.
What a freaking cool figure.
Is that a dinosaur?
He's a dinosaur. He's by Axie Toys Dino Wave 1. So this is the first of many, I guess.
It's like a medieval dinosaur.
He is so cool. Honestly, at first, I thought it was a Mythic Legions because it definitely has that type of style to it. Yeah, he's just like, look at this guy. And that's pretty cool. And without the armor, which it looks like you can take it all off, so that's cool. The articulation's pretty epic. You can even get him in that hero pose.
Yeah, those poses are insane.
So I don't know, just like sometimes these things pop into my head, and I'll show my girlfriend, and she'll be like, "Oh, that's cool," but which is great. Thanks, thanks, babe. But
Every now and then I'll do the same thing. I'll kind of drop in a suggestion like, "Hey, this toy's coming out."
yeah, it's cool to talk to somebody, and they have a couple different ones. There's there's a green one and there's a red one. Very, very slight. Oh well.
I really like that green one.
Yeah, I like the green one too. $75. That's not bad. I mean,
that really isn't, especially for what it's showing you. Like, you can take the armor off. The articulation is really good. I mean, sometimes you pay more for figures that are almost kind of just like straight museum poses.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that's really cool and that I've been really interested in lately, and I've seen a lot of companies do great with it, is coming out with good figures that don't have any type of licensed intellectual property character. If this was Batman, then Axie Toys would have to charge a ton more because they got to pay for the Batman license from DC. But Axie Toys doesn't have to because they made this dinosaur guy up.
Yeah, and it's all their own creation, so it's even better for them.
Yeah, I think that's so cool, and I don't think I'm gonna get him. Because sometimes I'm like, I don't know what I would do. If he was like an alligator, then I'd be like, all right, maybe. Also,
sometimes I feel like it's real easy to fall into that rabbit hole, though. Like, you see something cool like this, and then you buy it and you mess around with it, and you're like, man, like, there's so many possibilities with this figure, and then before you know it, you're on your like 4th or 5th figure.
I know. It's I know, because you want to have stuff that matches it, stuff like that. And this is number one, so who knows? Maybe the next one will be like a Triceratops or something. And actually, you know what? This is making me think of. Have you seen this guy, the Crocker? I'm just gonna Google it. It's Hunter Crocker. Hunter Crocker. This guy. I'm just Googling it. Have you seen this figure before? I pre-ordered this guy. Have you seen this guy?
Oh, wow. What the heck? Well, let me see a little bit bigger on the screen over here.
He's so cool, and he's kind of like a killer.
Oh, there we
croc.
go. That's a better angle of him. That guy's buff.
Right? He's so cool. What a cool figure. So,
do you think it's inspired a little bit by I can't remember the name. I'm not too good with DC
Killer Croc.
The Killer Croc, yeah.
I mean, that's what I was definitely thinking of that for sure. But he's even got like you can take the stuff off of him, or you can wear he's got a hat and a vest.
A little pirate hat.
Yeah, I love it so much. So I pre-ordered him a while back. So
yeah, no, that looks like a really cool figure.
Yeah, Vanessa.
I would totally look forward to like the shots, whatever shots you decide to do with that.
I don't even know what I'm gonna do with him. I just think he's cool. I'm gonna not even shoot him. I don't know. Maybe
I'll have him standing on the shelf, huh?
Yeah, maybe I'll do something with him in Batman. I don't know. But yes, Fred. I sorry guys. I'm tempting everyone to buy more stuff. I think that's one thing I'll probably do on the channel more often is talk about figures coming out. But I don't know. I wanted to see what you thought of this guy, and well, actually, I wanted to see what you thought of the other guy. But we kind of went down a little bit of a rabbit hole.
I love that little knife he has.
Yeah. And there's also a different color variant of him too, with the green and the red. So.
You know what it kind of reminds me of? Like, I think Vanessa said he looks like he's from like Louisiana or Florida.
Definitely.
So I think if you were able to get like a little like 112 like banjo.
Oh my god.
And some water shot or something, that'd be hilarious.
Maybe that's what I gotta do. Yeah. Linda in the chat is saying shoot him with Predator. That would be a good idea. Yeah. All right. So I got some questions from Instagram. So if we go over here, so this first question is a very important question, and I got this last minute. I'm so glad I was able to squeeze this one in. From Vanessa, she said, "I heard your inspirations come from your sister."
They definitely do. They come from my little sister, And and I see she mentioned my nieces there, Ariel, Naomi, and Gianna, and Jaylene. Um, I love them so much, and they moved to Texas about a year ago,
Ah,
so I don't get to see them as much as I used to. But through photography, I get to like post some pictures for them. I know a while back I took a picture of Sonic for them, and hi, how you doing?
he said hi. How are
and
you
I
doing?
took a
Oh, hi.
and I
Didn't
took a
even say
picture
that
of
yet.
Sonic for them because they all love Sonic. So I'm
Cool.
glad I can kind of connect with them through that.
That's awesome. That's so cool. Well, shout out to them for being awesome, supportive family members. That's um, I don't know. There's nothing better than that when you're doing something and you're really proud of it, and then the people you love are proud of you too. It's just like it's the best for sure. All right. Well, this question here is from the Toys of Defy. Defy. This is, how long have you been doing toy photography for?
I've been doing it for 2 years, maybe a little bit over 2 years. I started during the pandemic,
Yep.
so probably around maybe almost 3 years.
2 years.
So
You've come a long way in 2 years. You definitely have.
definitely, and up until recently, I started noticing a little bit more. Um, I felt like I was in it for a little while, and when I first started, I kind of took a little hiatus from it because I got a little discouraged. But I came back and decided to push through. And I know a lot of people in the Discord, in the chat, have always had that question comes up every so often of how do you stay motivated and getting discouraged because they're not growing and not getting enough likes. I remember when I was only getting like 5 likes on a picture that I posted, and I felt like, man, like I'm doing this work, and all I can really speak to is, if you really love it and it's something you want to do, just keep grinding and keep just put your head down and keep doing it and keep getting better and having a positive attitude about it, and people will notice it. And just stay true to yourself, and you'll grow and you'll get bigger and you'll get better. Um, and that's kind of what I did. You just gotta keep learning, keep asking questions, and keep trying,
Yeah.
and you'll get better.
Those are words of wisdom that I think we all could use a little bit of that. So that's amazing. Yes, that's such wise words. So you just keep giving us good stuff, man. So we got this one here. So this is a very interesting question from Rod Az. And I know Rod Az is in the live chat a lot. So I was like, you know what, Rod, maybe you meant something, but I'm going to assume that you meant ES, which stands for extremely spectacular. And that's you.
We'll definitely take it like that. So thank you for the extremely spectacular comment for sure.
Go Rod Az. And if you watch this later on, Rod Az, comment and tell us what you meant. Or maybe this is some hip thing that all the kids are saying these days that we don't
probably
that we don't know much about. Anyway, okay, so here's a legitimate one. What is some advice for someone who's just starting out in toy photography? What do you got for anyone who's just starting out?
My advice is don't get hung up on getting the best equipment. Don't get hung up on if you just have a phone. If all you have is a phone, use a phone. Know your phone. Know how your phone shoots. Mess with your phone settings. Try different lightings. You can do so much with just your phone alone, and it won't even look like a phone shot. It'll look like obviously there are things that a DSLR can do that a camera can't do, but a lot of the times if you start learning and you just apply yourself, sometimes you can't even tell the difference between a camera and a phone camera. And
It's true.
use what's around you. And if you have a camera, because this is what I found out when I first started, I'm like, okay, I checked out one of your YouTube videos and I paused it. And I'm like, what kind of camera does he have? And so that's how I got the camera. And so, but what I realized was like, you've been doing this for so long that you know what you're doing. You know how to take your shots. You know how to angle, how to edit, how to, plus, like you said, you've had previous experience with Photoshop and things like that, that I can buy a $5,000 camera and you can be using a $300 camera, but your shots are going to be 10 times better than mine because I haven't put in the work to be at that level. And so I feel like that's what people need to learn is do the work and you'll get better with anything that you have. And if you really like it, the better you get, save up some money, and you can. I bought my camera on eBay for $200 used, and
Heck yeah,
that's what
nice.
that's what I've been using because if you I'd use the Canon. Which one was it? The Canon T6i, I think that was,
Right.
or the Rebel something. I
The
forgot
Rebel
what it was.
T6.
Yeah, so that's the one that I use, and I've had that for almost 3 years. $200 on eBay. It might be a little bit more now because of inflation and all that, but
Yeah.
but use whatever you have. If you really want to start, use whatever you have, and don't let that deter you because there are still things that I feel like I need to buy, but it's just baby steps, little by little. Don't get hung up on the latest and greatest things because
Totally.
you're gonna fall into this money pit, and then you're gonna realize like, man, I'm not as good as I thought I was, and then you're gonna get discouraged and you spend all this money on this thing that you no longer want to do.
You're 100,000,000% right. And RJ Stubbs in the live chat says the camera is the medium, you are the artist.
Yeah, that's true.
So true. And hey, our Snapphase and Siva just came in the chat. Hey guys. And
Hey,
Siva,
what's going on, guys?
Siva also said it's great that you mentioned this. There's a video of these two European pro photographers taking beautiful shots with cereal box cameras. That's awesome. That's so inspiring. But I do also really like that you mentioned. So like you brought up my photos, and like my photos look like this because I've been doing it a long time or whatever. But I totally have been in a situation where I just started. I was using my phone and I was looking at Sergeant Banana's photos, and I was so discouraged because I was like, how the heck am I ever gonna take photos like that? Like never. And I had an iPhone 4 at the time. And I was just like super discouraged, and I was like, I'm never gonna. But yeah, I just kept shooting and having fun, and I learned a lot just by doing that. So it's very. I'm really glad you. It's totally okay to look at something and feel discouraged because like, how am I gonna do that? But all you gotta do is just try stuff out and learn stuff along the way. That's literally all it is.
And another thing, one more thing to add to that question is, never be afraid to reach out. Ask questions to the people that you admire, that you see, or if you feel like, oh, this person's way better than me and they're putting out this great content, feel free to reach out to them and
Yes.
reach out to you, reach out to me. Like, if I'm not a professional by any means, but I've learned a few things, and if I can help you out, send me a DM and I'll help you out as much as I can.
Yes. Just and I can't think of anybody that's a toy photographer or something that wouldn't be happy to answer something. Any question. I mean, of course I would. Obviously Carlos was Siva over here in the live chat. He doesn't even take pictures of toys. If you asked him a question, he'd probably go Google it and find out for you, just because everyone in this community is just, we just want to love and help each other out. So yes, reach out for sure. And you know what else is really great is just go on YouTube. And I'm not even talking about watch my videos. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about anything you want to learn, whether it be about your camera. Just go on YouTube and watch lots of YouTube videos. That's just like when I first got my newest camera, I just instantly YouTube how to use a Sony camera. Instantly, and you just learn it all right there.
Yeah. Exactly. You can find out anything you want on there.
Yeah. Awesome. Such good stuff. Oh my god, dude, you're just giving us such good stuff. So it's true. It's true. So we got a question from Johnny from Ganja Wifra, which I always say his name wrong. But
and shout out to Johnny, because I told him I was going to shout him out because he asked me.
All right. Well, here he is. Here he is. He says, "Who's your favorite UK photographer?" Is it me?
It's definitely Johnny for sure.
All right.
He just came to the States like a few weeks ago, and he was out in San Francisco, so I gave him a few spots to go check out. So
oh, nice.
Looked like he had fun.
Are you close to San Francisco?
I'm about an hour away.
Oh, okay, cool. I've been to San Francisco. My aunt lives there, so I've been there a couple times.
Oh wow. Yeah, no, it's a really beautiful place for sure.
It really is, and I wish, because it's been years ago since I went once as like a teenager, and then once when I was like too nervous to tell anybody about my toy photography. I just kind of did it myself. So, and man, we went to some beautiful places. I wish I took some photos.
Well, maybe one day you'll come by and we'll take pictures.
I definitely will someday. My brother lives there. He lives pretty close to San Francisco. So, but Jesse also in the live chat says the toy photography community is one of the best, all in caps, online communities. No joke. That's so cool. I love just hearing people say just. It really is great. It's such a. You always just feel good being a part of everything, and just it really is such a great, safe place. And I feel like this every time we do any kind of live thing, and we always end up on this topic of just saying how awesome everybody is.
Yeah,
it's just so great.
Yeah, we really do, and it's true. Everyone's really cool. So I have yet to really run into somebody that kind of rubs me the wrong way or anything.
Yeah,
but,
everyone is awesome. And I also want to really make sure I mention anyone who's here in the live chat now and has any questions for Carlos, please throw them in the chat. I should have asked that earlier, so please throw some questions in there, or just anything you want to ask him, or anything you want us to discuss, anything. It's like, have you guys seen this? Or I don't know. I love getting random things like that in the chat and then sparking conversations.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So let's see here. I do got some other ones here. This is from Fred, who I know is in the live chat right now. From Northern Fred, says, "What is the ultimate question of life, the universe of everything?" So I'm just gonna let you interpret that on your own.
That is. I don't know. You know what I think? I think of like when I hear that question, like now that I just read it, I think of like Shakespeare. I don't even know if it's Shakespeare, but I feel like it's that era of what's that quote? What does it say? To be or not to be.
Right. That's from Hamlet, right?
Is it? I'm not too sure. I'm not really big on the.
I just remember
that's like poetry,
school.
Right?
Yeah, it's from. I think it's from Hamlet. I think I remember reading Hamlet in high school. Siva says the answer to this question is 42. And Fred also said it's 42. And that makes a lot of sense, you guys.
The answer is always C.
Yes, I agree.
Multiple choice.
Well, either way, Fred, you could have thrown anything in there and I would have been happy about it. So thanks for putting it in. And we do have a good question in the chat from Toy Immersion. It says, "What's your favorite line to shoot?"
I would have to say like Marvel characters. No shade to DC people. Jared.
Yeah, that's me.
I love DC characters as well because I have a bunch of Batmans. But I don't know as much about DC as I feel like Marvel, and I think the only reason for that is because Marvel. I feel like with the movies, they kind of like win a little bit in the box office, a little bit more than DC has.
You don't have to be kind about it. It's fact. Trust me. I'm a hardcore DC guy.
Not even in a way like throwing any type of shade towards DC, because I overall I just like superheroes, so I'm not one of those like hardcore like only like Marvel, or I know the whole Batman and prep time argument, like like it's at the end of the day he's a superhero, and I think that's cool. And I feel like growing up we're lucky that we live in a time where all of the shows and figures and stuff that we saw as kids, we see them in movies, and we see them as like live action. And some people might think it's like too much, and they're kind of tired of the whole superhero genre. But I think it's just really cool. I just overall like all heroes.
Sorry, there's a cat that has come to join us. Thanks, buddy. But no, you're right. We're yeah. DC is. I'm a huge DC fan, but I love Marvel. I mean, I love them all. There's no reason why would you dislike either of them? They're both awesome. I mean, I connect more with DC characters, but every Marvel movie that comes out, I'm going to the theaters to see that. Why would I? You know, I'm not gonna hate Marvel movies because I like it's silly. It's a silly battle between them. I mean,
I will say that my favorite DC character is Superman, and you know, I already talked about Captain America, but Superman to me, when I got exposed to heroes was the Superman movie with Christopher Reeves. So you know, that's where I started liking heroes and being into all that.
Awesome. Yeah, absolute classic. I still go back to that movie. All of those all the time.
Oh yeah.
So your favorite line to shoot? So probably Marvel Legends. I'm assuming.
I guess we could say that as like for now, but just anything that's cool. To be honest, yeah. I'm not really too picky.
Right, and I was just say a lot of these shots that we were going through. You had that one like Mezco Wolverine, and you had that Bandai diecast one. You had all kinds. So just like doesn't matter what the line is. You just give me a cool character. You're more into getting the characters that you love than just the specific.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's so awesome. So wow, there's a lot of great questions in here. So let's see. Here we go. So Jesse says, I find one of the hardest things is coming up with the next shot. How do you come up with ideas for new shots?
Sometimes honestly it just pops into my head, because I feel like if I like recently I've been shooting like 2 days apart, and so it's like I think like 2 days apart or even back to back, and it's because I'm just getting these flood of ideas, because mind you I don't have really many props. I don't have any dioramas. I made my own like cement type diorama with that XPS foam.
Oh, awesome.
And that's helped out a lot. And that's why I try to get good at blending stock images and backgrounds, and using a lot of like the clouds that we were talking about, like practical effects, because I don't have a lot of those things. And then it's kind of cool when just if you have an idea, like you pick like this guy right here. I have this random. It's not even like an articulated figure, but I have this little Bob Ross like Funko thing.
Is that from one of the cans,
like,
the soda cans?
Yeah, from the Funko sodas. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this little dude, like if I wanted to shoot him, I have some fake little moss, you know, and I don't have any like tree props or anything like that. So I'll go in, put them on the grass, look up like a forest setting that kind of matches the color of the little prop that I do have, and then just kind of work from there and try to make him blend into the background so it looks like everything that I shot was like physically there, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. That's so awesome.
And whenever you have an idea, like jot it down, type it in your phone, or if you have the time, run straight to your room or wherever you take your shots and try to recreate that shot, so that, you know, and then later on you can tweak it and go back and work on it.
That is great. That is such good advice. That's so cool. And actually, so Jesse, one of the things that I've been doing recently too with getting ideas, like I've been kind of on this kick of like putting different stuff, like I'll find a thing, like a household object or like some kind of thing that I'm like, I want to put this in my photo. And then I'll figure out something like that, like a lemon and then like a drink or just like random stuff. Like I found some really cool waffles in the frozen section recently, and I'm like totally going to do a picture with so just like
I have a photo in there that I took a picture with this thing here.
Yeah, and you know that's why I thought of it too, because I've been noticing that you've been kind of doing somewhat similar with your stuff a lot too. Because if you go over to your page, you know you had this stuff with your cousin's candy, and you know you had the bullets, and just you've been doing a lot of like incorporating things like this one. with your hand. You know, just like incorporating other stuff into your shots, and that's something I've noticed. And for me, I think it's really fun. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There you go,
it's loads
Jesse.
of fun, and it's free.
Yes.
Everything around you that's visible, it's free. You don't have to buy it. Just
Yes.
you know, unless you're at the store, you know, don't steal.
Yes, definitely, definitely. Do I have any more? Okay, you know what? Well, I'll say this one for last because I'm just gonna do it because actually, what happened here was this person, off the shelf, pictures. I'm not sure if he's here. Stole my question that I always ask.
Oh.
So.
And he just recently joined the Discord too, right? So.
Yes, he did.
Welcome to the Discord.
So off the shelf, and the Discord that Carlos is talking about is the one on the YouTube membership. If anyone's interested and want to join, all the information is right below the video. Just where it usually says subscribe, it says join. There's a little join button right there. But yes, he says, what character would you like to see made into an action figure that hasn't been done yet? There he is. He's right there in the live chat.
How you doing, man? Thank you for the question. So I think one character, not even a character in specific, or like a person or anything, but I would love to see more like old Western characters.
Ooh.
Like if Mesco or Mofex or anybody could make like more, it can even be their own creation. It doesn't have to be a specific movie person or like an actor or anything. Just I feel like a cool character with like a trench coat and a cowboy hat, and throw in like a horse like accessory in there with like the little guns and stuff, like, you know, and they have the, what do you call it, the gun belt that goes across their chest. I feel like there's not.
I feel like those would be, especially if they're able to use like generic, no name Western kinds of stuff, or Vanessa in the live chat saying Red Dead Redemption would be cool. And I agree.
Oh yeah, there would.
And same with the soldiers.
And I think Hot Toys has the Red Dead Redemption. Sorry.
Oh really? I didn't realize that, but
yeah.
Same thing with the soldiers, like the World War II soldiers. I think those would be a huge hit. And you know what? They might be around. They definitely might be around.
The World War II ones, I saw a company make them, but I can't even remember. I saw them on eBay, but I don't know.
That would be cool. And Snapphase in the live chat says a civilian pack. I agree. A civilian pack would be really cool.
More people, like filler for the background, that'd be cool.
Oh, and Off the Shelf was thinking, he says he loves your answer, and a Cowboy Gomez. I'm actually surprised that hasn't happened yet.
You know what? That Mesco, if you're listening, make that, please.
Yeah, because they're doing everything with Gomez, and I mean, which is great. I love how much of a success he's been for them. But yeah, a cowboy one would be cool. I guess I see how that could be difficult with putting a cowboy hat on his antennas.
Yeah,
but
I just recently put like a little cowboy hat on a Ninja Turtle figure.
Oh, nice! Where did you get the cowboy hat?
And it looked pretty cool. I don't know. Let me grab them real quick.
Yeah, I'm curious because I recently did the same thing with my Mandalorian. I did that cowboy Mando thing. Oh, nice! That fits him perfectly.
I found this at Hobby Lobby, so I was trying it on different heads, and then I took off the little back piece of his bandana, and I put it on there, and it fits perfect. So.
It fits him perfect. So there you go. You can just you don't need cowboy characters. You can take cowboy characters you already got, and so if you add it, you could make a little bandolier like the bullet belt thing. You could just get a string and then put some. I don't know, you can make that out of something, and I don't know, and then there you go.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah, I'll look up some YouTube videos or something. I'm sure there's something out there how to make that. That'd be pretty cool.
And when I did my Cowboy Mandalorian, I just ended up buying everything. I bought a hat off of Etsy, and I bought a like a duster, like a cowboy trench coat duster jacket off of eBay, and just slipped it on him, and then he turned into a cowboy.
Yeah, it's you can do a lot. You just get a little creative for sure.
You can. It's endless possibilities for sure. And so off the shelf says, oh, for the Cowboy Gomez, he says that put holes in the hat, to put the cowboy hat on Gomez. They did it with the Ninja
I might even
Gomez.
try that.
Yeah, that would be. I would love to see that. I would love to see that. And everyone else was complimenting your awesomely done cowboy. What was it? Was it Raphael?
I can't remember. The hardcore Ninja Turtle people are gonna kill me because I can't remember all their names.
Yeah, Raphael is orange for sure. I think no, it's either Raphael or Michelangelo. Sorry guys, I'm always asking the live chat for that. All right. Okay, so that's usually my like second to last question, and so I'm gonna throw out my last question, and if anybody's got anybody else, throw them in the chat now. Actually, Brewley says, "What's next for you as far as toy photography?" I like that question. What's next for you?
I want to kind of like I said earlier, I want to branch out, and I want to, I know a lot of us started this out for fun because I know I did, and I've invested so much time and money into this, and I kind of would want to see where I go as far as like making a little money on the side. I know a lot of the times we don't talk about that too much, and I know sometimes it almost seems like a little taboo to want to make money off of something that you like to do, especially when it involves like getting more exposure and you start becoming a little bit more known. But I would love for like people to like, if people would love what I do and like my pictures, to purchase like my prints, and who knows, maybe later on, like I thought it was really cool the other day how you got that that ad on Walmart. Like that's huge.
Thanks
like that's like nothing. That's not small. That's not something small for a big company to notice you like that. Like who knows how many projects they have lined up on the board, and then for them to notice you and said, hey man, like can you do this for us? And you did, and it's on that site, and millions of people all over the world are going to be able to see that ad when they click on their file. Like I want to get to that level and do something like that, and hopefully like I can inspire other people to pick up a camera and do the same thing, and just like you did. And I feel like hopefully within the next few years, like my hard work pays off, and I'll start getting noticed by a company here and there, or even collaborate with people, or like do a collaboration with you, or people that I admire, and just continue interacting and growing with the community, and just I feel like that's my goal is at a certain point in my life, have something physically come back in return from all the work that I'm putting in now.
Well, you are 100% on that track, and you will. I have no doubt in my mind you're going to be getting reached out from important people all the time. Like it's just like good things happen to good people, and you're an amazing dude. So like, and your stuff is amazing, and every time you do something, it just keeps getting better and better. And and there's and one thing I like, and I don't think you ever should be ashamed or like afraid to talk about how like I want to make money from toy photography for you. That's a dream to be able to make money, do it from your love, and that's
yeah, exactly.
It's being like an entrepreneur, basically figuring out ways to turn something into like a business kind of thing. I think that's awesome. So
yeah,
that's so cool. And there's probably so many ways that toy photography can be monetized that we don't even know about yet. There's so many. I think it's a really fun and interesting thing to talk about, for sure. And also thank you for the thing about the Walmart thing.
Oh yeah, no, you're welcome.
And we were definitely wrong. Snapface and Fred both say that orange is Michelangelo. So
okay.
We were close. I knew it was either Michelangelo or Raphael. And PTY Drone Adventure says, "How old is my friend Venom?" Venom is actually 8 years old. He's an old boy. Siva's got a great question. So it said, "I don't know if you have any more time for more questions. What do you feel is your signature move? Something you feel you always inject into your photos that makes them yours?" Great question, Siva. What's your MO?
I think I think John on Discord, I think it was John or Trunk Me, I can't remember who said it. I had taken a picture, and I think it was that one right there up to the very top. That one in the white with the Fortnite character. I think it was that one where he said, "Your signature is sparkles." and it's funny because my sister's always like laughing at me because I always like put sparkles into everything. I'm always attracted to shiny stuff.
There's nothing wrong with that. I think it's awesome.
And so I feel like whenever appropriate and whenever I can, I'll always try to add that extra glitter, like the shine. I feel like that catches people's eye. Like, oh, what's this shiny thing over here? I'm gonna click on that.
It's true. It definitely does. Yeah, and I'm the same way. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of sparkle. You know how many lens flares I put in there from Photoshop?
Oh,
totally.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Well, that's a great answer, and Siva, really great question. And I just realized that I totally forgot. There's a question that I didn't put in here that we got from Instagram. But I totally forgot to do that. And it's kind of something, I guess, maybe this is, maybe you just might have just answered it, but the question was, did I not put it in here? I totally had it. Where is it? Maybe I didn't get it. Well, it was... Where the heck did it go? Maybe the person... Well, the question was, and I don't know what happened to it, but the question was, what's your best Photoshop tool? What's your favorite Photoshop tool? And I know you don't use Photoshop, but your best editing tool. What are your favorite? What's your favorite?
Like the favorite tool within the application?
Yeah, however you want to interpret it.
Right now, and I'm so glad you made that. I think when you did the tutorial and you were showing the dodge tool.
Oh.
Because I feel like the dodge tool has like amplified my pictures like times 100. Like, it's given them like a totally different like look on certain ones that I used it on, and I feel like that has stepped up the quality of my photos a ton for sure. I'm loving that right now. I'm sure later on I'll love another different tool as I learn, learn how to use Photoshop a lot better. But as of right now, the dodge tool is my go-to for sure, especially to like brighten things up. Especially sometimes I'm like, man, like I love this shot, but it's a little too dark. I'll use that dodge tool to like lighten it up a little bit.
Awesome. So for anyone watching who doesn't use Photoshop, what is the dodge tool? What is it?
So the dodge tool is not really too good at explaining what the tool is, but it's like this tool that when you click on any part of the photo, it brightens it up. So, and sometimes you can even add a shiny effect to a certain part. Like if you take a picture of a toy and they have like a belt buckle and the light is hitting it and it's bright, but you use that tool and you'll hover over that belt buckle, click on it a few times, and you'll see it get brighter and brighter, and you can totally make that pop with that tool.
Yes, exactly. So it's basically like a brush, but for brightness.
Yes, exactly, a brush.
It's just like you paint like stuff to make it brighter, basically. So, can you think of one of the shots where you used it on your?
Oh, this one right here, the metal face
with these guys.
Yeah.
So like maybe some of the brightness over here.
Yeah, so I used the brightness on the plates, on the helmet, on the face. On I even used it for the eyes to make the eyes look like they're glowing.
Awesome. That's so useful. I couldn't agree more. The dodge tool is very helpful. Just going over like already like stuff that's already kind of like a bright thing. If you want to just like brighten it even more, and
Yeah.
it really helps make things pop.
Oh
And
yeah, for sure.
yeah, super. And then RJ Sub says the dodge slash burn tool can be very handy. So like the dodge brightens stuff, and then the burn tool is what darkens stuff. And you can really just make nice contrast and stuff. So what an awesome answer. Yeah, the dodge tool is so awesome, so helpful.
Yeah, for sure. I need to learn how to use the burn tool a little bit though.
It's the same. It's literally the same thing as the dodge tool, but the opposite. It just does the exact opposite. It just darkens stuff instead of brightens
And
it.
then I think I just thought of something back to the question of what I wanted to get out of like photography.
Yeah.
I really want to learn how to, because I've noticed I've veered into super dark photos, and that's all cool and all, but I really want to learn how to just make bright photos that look like they're just all lit up. And I try to do those things, but I feel like my photos always come out washed out or super overexposed, and I'm
Oh, I
not
see.
getting that like lighting and that color I want. And I want to learn how to do that too.
So like getting like very bright, vibrant stuff without making it look too washed out.
Yeah, like for example, the Mando picture that you have, or the the Wonder Woman picture that you have, where she's by the sand and she's like running.
Oh,
Like
okay.
all those shots are super shiny, but they're not washed out. They're like very. I can't really explain it, but I think I know you. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but they're just real
Definitely.
colorful. They're bright, but they're just perfect. I don't know.
Well, it's when if I'm ever shooting somewhere where I'll usually it'll be a very bright day. I'll definitely utilize that extra bright that I get, and I'll usually on my settings I will crank the shutter speed very fast on my camera, and
Hmm.
I like that because the faster the shutter speed is, the the quicker the camera will move to catch any moving particles going. So like with that Wonder Woman one, I was kicking up dirt, and that's moving quick. So
Yeah,
and so when you crank your shutter speed to a really fast speed, it will naturally make things darker. And the ISO I also will keep down pretty low too to keep it pretty dark, because the higher the ISO goes up, then the brighter it gets. So um, what I usually do is if I want something bright, I will just mess with my like I'm in somewhere bright where there's lots of light, and I'll just mess with my settings. I'll just keep fiddling with it until it gets to look something that I want.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and I think since I shoot inside, also I think I might have to invest in a little bit some more lights, because I think my camera's struggling a little bit because I might not have enough lights as well.
yeah, it's all just about experimenting. Just if you want a really bright photo, try using a lot of light and then just messing with the settings. And or then if you want something really bright, try like a medium amount of light and messing with it. Just like that's because that's how I learned everything. And just like messing around with stuff until I think it looks good. Just
Yeah.
and just takes practice. Just like we said, just takes practice. Just fiddling with stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Cool. You're awesome, man. And um, Bruley says high ISO usually washes out your photos and adds grain to them. Yeah, usually if your ISO ends up being a little bit higher, that could definitely make things feel washed out. That's for sure.
Okay.
For sure.
What would you recommend would be a good ISO, or does it just change per shot?
It can definitely change per shot. So basically, and I'm gonna do a bad job. Any professional photographer is gonna look at me and be like, "That's not a good explanation." But the way to me, ISO basically is just like an easy way to brighten your photo if you want, or darken. So if you turn it up, it brightens it. If you turn it down, it darkens it. Turn it up, bright, turn it down, darken. But if you turn it up too much, if you're in a dark room and you're just like, I want more light, crank the ISO up. It's kind of like cheating, and so like it's much easier to get rid of light than to add light. So I like to keep my ISO down pretty low. Like on my camera, it's pretty much always at 400. I just leave it at 400, and I just leave it there. And if I want more light, I'll get it elsewhere instead of cranking up my ISO, because I don't want it to look grainy, kind of like Bruley was saying.
Okay.
And
yeah, I'm definitely going to be checking that out on my settings. I can't even remember what my ISO is at right now.
Yeah, definitely. I always think of it as it's an artificial way to brighten up your photo. So if you turn it up too much, it's going to get too artificial looking, and that's that's basically it. That's how I like to think of it. Cool, awesome. And thank you everyone in the live chat for throwing out some really good, really great, helpful stuff, for sure. RJ says between 100 and 400 works for him for ISO. Same here.
Definitely. I'll definitely be cranking it up to in between those numbers for sure.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, it's good to keep your ISO nice and low, for sure. Nice and low. Because if you go up into the thousands, then you might be... It might get that washed out look you're talking about, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so for my last question for you, I'm going to go over to this one. So, in 5 years, where do you see yourself as a toy photographer? Where do you see Toiistories as a toy photographer 5 years from now?
5 years. I would like to say 5 years from now, I would like to know that I had at least like a positive impact in the community, and know that I had a small part to play in like more people getting into it, and on top of that, have grown a lot more than I am now, and hopefully successfully having like a little store with that, like I said, sell my prints, or eventually maybe later on get a little merch or something. Like I think it's cool like how you have your little hats and the bags and the shirts. Like that's pretty cool, man. Like that's your stuff, that's your creation, like, and people are rocking that. Like that's cool to know that someone's walking out there with a Sirdork hat on or a t-shirt, like that's cool, and so I feel like within 5 years I would like to be in that same position, and I know that it will happen as long as I keep dedicating myself and pushing forward and just maintaining on the road that I'm on. I know it'll happen for me, and it can happen for everybody that's in this chat, everybody that's there, all these people that do that. Like, all of you guys can do the same exact thing. It's not impossible, and it's been done. So there's nothing that I possess that not everybody else has. Like we all have the same thing. We all have, the only thing I will say is just keep grinding. That's it. Just that's the main thing. Keep grinding. Don't give up. And when you feel like, if you get a thought of I want to quit or I want to do this and that, think of how far you've come, and in that moment, go take another picture.
Yeah.
And
that's great.
And so that's where I kind of want to be. I want to be in that position to where, hopefully, next year when you do the con again, hopefully I can go and we can hang out and talk awesome. and stuff, and that'll be awesome. Like
that'd be amazing.
That's one of my goals. Hopefully next year I can go, and that'll be fun, man. I can't wait for that, and hopefully the timing is right and I can definitely go, because trust me, I was so bummed out that I couldn't go this year. And I just but for sure next year, when you do it again, I will try my hardest to go out there.
Awesome.
That's something I want to do.
Sounds great. Well, you have some fantastic, like really great amazing goals. Like the first thing you said was literally about others. You want to have an impact on the community to the point where you brought people into the like, you know, that's so awesome. And make sure Regine, your fiance in the live chat, she said you've done great and improved so much. Can't wait to see where you go from here. Keep learning. And she gave one of those. She's awesome. Awesome. So you were really great. You gave us some really amazing just like advice and just like relatable stuff, and just always thinking about others. So that's just so cool. And all of those things you mentioned, you're gonna have all of those things before 5 years. That's for sure. You definitely will. So if you're not following Toiistories right now, go follow him right now. Right now. So we got him from 5:05 to 5:15. All right.
Nice.
Awesome.
Thank you guys.
That's so awesome. So I'm going over here. Is there anything else you want to mention before we go? Make sure you anything you want to plug, anything like that.
No, I think I kind of did already. Go support my cousin's candy again.
Yes.
If you guys can, support small business, support small creators, support small pages, get them up there, because they're the future of the platform and everything that we're doing. And so that's pretty much it. I wanted thank God. Without him I wouldn't be here in this position and doing what I'm doing. And thank you for my fiance for helping me out. Thank you for the community, all you guys in the Discord, you, Jared. Everyone's been super nice. Thank you to all my family and my cousins and everyone who's watching. You guys have always supported me. So
yes.
I was a nervous wreck, and I told you that before we started.
But look at you go.
And so, but once I got comfortable, I can just chop it up all day. We could be here all day. But awesome. So thank you to everybody, and that's pretty much it. See you guys out on Instagram, and I know that new app Vero just came out, so
yeah, I gotta hop on there.
So thank you for the opportunity, Jared. I thank you a lot. You've always been great, and keep doing what you're doing, man, and it's only gonna get bigger and better from here.
I'll do my best. But really, thank you for sure. And anyone who's just now following him, send Carlos a message. He'll make your day, just giving you just the most genuine, awesome response ever, just because that's the way he is. And I'm sure he'll be very happy to hear it. So, all right, man. Thank you for everything again. Have a great rest of your night. I know it's probably only 7 o'clock over there or something. So
yeah, it's about to be 7. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, have a great rest of the night. Go have some.
Thank you.
Good
night. Stay hi to Harley for me. And
I will.
Hope you guys are good.
I will.
All right. Thank you.
All righty, man. Have a good one.
All
Thanks
right,
for watching, everybody.